Hello, welcome to the Jenkins Documentation Office Hours. Today is April 17th. Around the table right now, we have myself, Kevin Martins, Bruno Varashton, Chris Stern, uh, Birajit Saikia, and May McRoberts, Patrick Mane? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Uh, so yeah, um, anyone else joins up, a welcome. And as always, just to kick things off, we'll just review the agenda. So, contributor spotlight, work there, upcoming and recent. Touch base real quickly about the documentation developer experience. Some documentation fixes that were implemented recently. The Jenkins Community Awards. The Redesigning Jenkins blog post by Jan. We'll just touch on that again, since it was recently published and still a very good topic to bring up. Some Google Summer of Codes notes, the Chinese documentation site, upcoming and recent LTS and weekly releases. As always, recent work done on Jenkins.io. And then the same few discussion topics we've had the last handful of sessions. Just if we have time, we'll talk to them. But there hasn't been much change with any of these things, so not much discussion to be had in this time. So, any other topics anyone wants to make sure we cover or add onto the agenda? Okay. Contributor Spotlight still going strong. Our latest Spotlight was featuring Yaroslava Fenkin. That was published last month. Upcoming, we'll have Sasha Laburi, who's one of the co-founders of CloudBees and a big supporter of Jenkins over the years. And then Elon Rabinovich, who's one of the people of Scale, who's provided space for Jenkins. So those are upcoming spotlights that will be featured. Sasha should be published relatively soon. Again, we've slowed down the cadence to one publication a month just to give everyone a chance to breathe, and we've established the spotlight at this point, so we want to make sure that everything is getting highlighted and present and available for everyone to see and learn about. So good things coming there, great stuff there. And I checked in with Alyssa about your response, so she's going to take a look for that and see if she can find out where that might have went. Worst case scenario, if you have time or means available to put another one together, we'll follow up on that one though. No worries. On the documentation developer experience, so just some troubles when getting started for Meg, but we've updated the instructions to include Docker installation information. And it's something that we can follow up on later if it's still causing some problems for you.
I've got to get back there and try it on a different computer. I've been bad.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, it's I've had to kind of nuke my setup entirely and restart a couple times in my experience, and it always helps starting clean. But yeah, it's a bit of a headache to try and figure out what might be causing that. So
Indeed.
no worries there. So yeah, so more to come. Documentation fixes. So the one that we've been talking about and highlighting, that was the version doc site that was started as part of Google Summer of Code 2023 was being found in Google searches. Didn't want that, so thanks to Chris, Chris added a TXT file to prevent it from being found in search. And then recently there was a message in the developer mailing or the Jenkins user mailing list that there was no information about upgrading to Java 21. So I've added that. So now we have Java 21 upgrade instructions, including the video that Darren Pope recorded for it. And yeah, some more step-by-step instructions in this one. The previous ones didn't have that, and I wanted to kind of improve on what we have. So I'll go back and check out the Java 17 instructions for that as well. Thanks to Bruno for verifying that on that as well. The 2025 Jenkins Community Awards. So the nomination period closed earlier this week. According to Alyssa, we have multiple nominations for each category, so she's going to go ahead and start setting up the voting process for that. And so the voting process is scheduled to start on April 22nd and close on June 5th. So everyone will have over a month to put that together, submit their votes, participate in the democratic process of voting, and we'll see who the winners are at CDCon 2025, which is June 23rd to 25th this year. Um, this isn't going to make much of a difference now that nominations are closed, but last year's winners are not eligible to win this year's the same award this year. But after seeing the nominations on the issues, it's not going to be an issue. That's not going to be a problem. So, thanks to everyone for the nominations and participating thus far. We'll keep everyone updated when the voting is available. Recently, Jan Faracek posted or submitted a blog post for redesigning Jenkins. So this is part one of a series that they intend to do. That Jan went over the background of Jenkins structure, infrastructure, and what it takes to update Jenkins UI. The challenges that come along with that, the fact that because Jenkins has existed for so long now, what is still being held on to and what needs to be done to make that more modern. So lots of great insight here from Jan, lots of amazing work done by the UX UI SIG. So thanks to all of their work always for that. There will be more parts to this to come. And if you're interested, Jan actually had a call out for anyone that's interested in helping or contributing. Join the user experience SIG. There is monthly UX SIG meetings, and there's lots of great stuff that you can see in the UX SIG meeting history. For Google Summer of Code 2025, so the proposal rankings are underway right now. The mentors and org admins are reviewing the submitted proposals, and we're looking really good right now. There was over 150 proposals submitted. And so Chris has gone through a lot of review and determining what's valid and has, yeah, 160 plus submitted. And yeah, things are looking really good. Thanks to all of the contributors and participants that have submitted their proposals. It's no small feat to go through that process and put all that work together. So it's truly appreciated by all of us. And right now we're planning to have 4 or 5 projects, depending on the Google selection process and what we figure out with all the proposals. But we'll be meeting, the mentors and org admins will all be meeting to determine what that's going to look like in the coming weeks. So our deadlines to submit rankings is April 29th. So coming up very, very soon. And then Google will announce the confirmed contributors on May 8th.
Hey,
Bruno.
I'm just curious. Did we have how many? Did we have more junk submissions than normal this year? Or I was reading on GSOC, a lot of them had a lot that were generated by AI that were just clearly bonkers. Just curious how we did.
I think more or less the same, maybe a little bit more, but not too many.
Not too many. Okay, let's click.
Yeah.
Let's curious.
Yeah, no, there's, I mean, the Google Summer of Code mailing list has been discussing a lot of this stuff lately and kind of
Yeah.
sharing that sentiment there that there the quality is there, but some of it seems a little questionable in some cases. But at the end of the day, I mean, if it helps people get their ideas together in a cohesive manner, great. If people are copying and pasting it directly, that's another matter in and of itself.
Right.
But I know Chris has gone through a lot of the proposals, if not all the proposals, and really done the work to validate and confirm what's worth reviewing and checking out and putting our time and effort into. Um,
Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's just massive.
okay. Yeah, I mean, based on the sheer number of proposals, having that's a lot of work for anyone to have to go and do. So, massive thanks to Chris for all of that. And Chris, Bruno, any other notes on Google Summer of Code before we move on? I know that we still have lots of information to kind of figure out and provide when it's available. So
We have a total of more than 200 submissions this year. So just that's for the stats.
yeah, there is quite a lot of submissions, and having 70% of them or so be really like valid. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think it was around 64 or even 54. Last year, it was, I can't remember, but more than that. But this year, it just exploded.
I think it's like last year was maybe not last year, but I'm not sure if I remember correctly. It was above 200 too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, maybe not last year, maybe last year. So last year was maybe 100 something.
Man.
Good to see the interest and the activity from potential candidates. It's really nice. And I mean, I appreciate the fact they're interested in the project to this extent. It's a big commitment. It is a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. And so choosing to throw their hat in the ring metaphorically for Jenkins is really inspiring and really heartening to see. So at the end of the day, thank you. And we'll have more in a couple weeks. Next up's the Chinese documentation site and Chinese localization plugin. So again, we've been discussing this for some time now. The idea was originally over the last couple of years, we were talking about retiring the Chinese localization or the Chinese documentation site, found that there were 58,000 installations of the localization plugin. So that discussion stopped in terms of retiring it. The discussion is now turned into what can we do to help and keep everything up to date in the sense of the Chinese documentation site currently is not up to date with current Jenkins.io site. But their plan right now is Chris has adopted the Chinese doc site. Damien Portal, part of the infra team, has made Chris, myself, Mark, part of the maintainers for the repo now. And so modernization updates, they're all planned to happen for the localization. Chris, is there anything you want to share or note on this particularly?
I think so for the plugin, we may still want to retire it, but I'm not sure. So I will need to I will leave that up for discussion now. So that will be decided later once we have more data. But the site will update for sure. And also for the localization within the core itself, it's going to start later this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through still. We still have Google Summer of Code in a very short period of time coming up. So this is something that doesn't need to happen right now, but not something that we want to just forget about and ignore. So yeah, no, later this year, later, at least after the summer, sounds like a great idea. So next up on the agenda is the LTS and weekly releases. So we've had 2.505 and 2.506 release in the last couple weeks. Those changelogs are available on the site as expected. There was also a security advisory published on April 10th for Jenkins Docker images. And then our next LTS release is going to be 2.504.1 on April 30th. So just a couple weeks away from yesterday. And I've already created the changelog and upgrade guide pull requests. So that's open for review, feedback, anything like that. The backporting and release candidate have already happened / been released. So everything's looking good thus far, and not anticipating any additional backports that we'll need to include in the changelog, but keeping an eye out for that in the meantime. And then next up, so there's the recent work that's been done on Jenkins.io. So thanks to Zbinek for, the reverse proxy configuration page link was broken. So Zbinek fixed that. So thank you to him for that. Daniel Beck, part of the Jenkins security team, has restored the change logs prior to 2.31.1. So they were not appearing previously. He's put them back. So we have that historical data now, which is great. And then Adrian, who's a developer for Jenkins, he's been working on the plugin health score project for quite some time now. That was part of the Google Summer of Code project. It's been getting work done for quite some time now, and it's been released. It's part of the plugin site. You can see the plugins health score on the page now, and he just created a section in the plugin management documentation to include this, to go over the health score, what it means, what it entails, what it looks like, and how to improve the score as well, which is great. So this is fantastic. There's more work being done on the plugin health scoring in different ways, and it'll probably show up down the line to provide some more insight. And then thanks to Bakyum there's a handful of documentation fixes they provided, just some formatting stuff, some background stuff, but things that just make life easier in the long run for anyone reviewing or making fixes or updates in the future. So thanks to them for that. And then Birgit's continued to be working on the master branch renaming process, which is not the quickest process, but we're taking our time to make sure it's being done properly and thoroughly and everywhere. There are a lot of places that it needs to hit, so we're making sure we find all those. And just recently, Birgit also added the Groovy best practices and administrative capabilities, so thanks very much for all that work. And again, as always, thanks to everyone for all their work on Jenkins.io. It's not a one-person operation by any means, so it's nice to have contributions coming from all over like that. And then, so the Alpha Omega documentation project idea, I don't think this has been selected, or that we'll be getting another round of support from Alpha Omega. That's okay. The idea was that we'd be able to potentially fund someone to help write some extra documentation about plugin development, extended tutorials, and how-to guides on plugin maintainership, other topics that are really important, but that we just don't necessarily have right now. But nothing, I don't know that there's been any response directly, but last times we've checked, there hasn't been any sort of, we're holding out hope, but it's getting to a point where maybe we just kind of like move on to the next thing, but we'll see. Bruno, any insights or anything that you might
I'm aware of said it all.
Okay.
We're still waiting. Hope is still there, but we are not really confident we'll get another round of funding.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they had made final decisions yet, so thank you. All right. So yeah, and then again, so the plugin developer documentation, again, this is kind of similar vein, but this was raised at a previous Docs office hours by Antoine Lever, who's a CloudBees employee and developer, but there's a lot of warning signs and work in progress documentation in the developer documentation. So the idea is that this would be something we could work on later on. I'm connecting with Antoine more and more as days go by, so I'm hoping that this is something we can maybe have a real conversation around, or hopefully Antoine joins Doc's office hours to maybe talk about it further at some point in the future. There's a lot going on that he just doesn't not necessarily have the capacity to do this right now, but improving the plugin developer documentation, including it, like I said, a tutorial about how to do plugin maintenance and not just necessarily improving it and modernizing it, but maintaining it fully to an extended period of time. What other things we might want to include, tools for developmental tool documentation. There's a handful of things that would inspire more confidence in readers if they were able to access it directly on the Jenkins.io site. So we do need someone with that knowledge to provide that knowledge. it's not just going to come out of thin air, unfortunately. But if we have that, we can always work on it together, get that put together, and get that into the developer docs, which would help. So more to come there. And then finally, the Blue Ocean deprecation. So this is something that, again, we've been discussing, talking about, indicating that it's going to happen at some point. The exact time frame we don't have, but it is coming down the line at some point. We've moved the tutorials. We've changed the status note to be a little bit more indicative of that fact. And there will be a time in the future where this happens. So we'll plan for that we've planned for some of it already. More concrete plans will happen once we get to a point and we know that's happening. And then something that's not here that I actually wanted to add is Java 25 documentation. So Jenkins doesn't support Java 25 just yet. There's no weekly or LTS build that supports it yet, but Chris has already taken up the work to create an issue of tracking this sort of thing and making sure we have the documentation for it. So again, not something happening right now, more to come in time, but excuse me, we are aware of Java 25 and in the support, and we want to make sure that we're following the Java support plan that we've come out with in the last year. So Java 25 is going to be part of that. Java 21 support has been available since November 2023. So 25 support is not too far off, and we'll make sure to have the documentation included in that once it's available. Anything else anyone wanted to discuss today or put on the agenda to talk about? Okay. So in that case, we'll wrap up for the day. Today's session will be posted on community.jenkins.io, this course channel, and the YouTube recording will be available in 24 to 48 hours. Until next time, thank you very much. Appreciate all of your attendance and being here and contributions to the project. It's fantastic and keeps me going. So thank you very much.
Here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.